And there's the same kind of strategy that the Washington, D.C. is not catching up on. We take things literal. We're a high trust society. We take things literal. We expect you to follow. Let me use can I use a parallel example for this, for monitoring and emissions? Like, I'll use emissions and pollution related for factories. I worked in supply chain operations, and China has really bad pollution in factories. There were regulations to shut them down so that they can monitor in certain areas. So our factory shut down in China. I worked in textiles, anything high technology. What happened was that at nighttime, our factory would work at night after they would get a heads up from the local corrupt official saying, yeah, you guys can work, because they got to make money. They got to make money. So they're like, yeah, you can work. You can go and work, but you're just going to go at night because we have plausible deniability with it. Plausible deniability is essential for this. Now, there needs to, can JCPOA work? I believe it can work. I believe that we need to come back to the table and re-strategize so that there is actual accountability and actual oversight over whether or not they're developing a nuclear program.
Okay. You say that you want there to be oversight. We had oversight. Trump is the one who undermined our ability to have oversight. We're saying that clearly the Democrats are preferable in making these negotiations happen. Trump has been less preferable in making these negotiations happen and has caused us to go to war. Trump even acknowledged this prior when he said that the Democrats were weak and ineffective and we're going to start a war with Iran because they can't negotiate, which is exactly what Trump ended up doing. So,
okay, I would also like it to be known that in response to your claim that, well, because they had to let them know in advance that then they could just hide and scrub all of their enriched uranium. First reason why that's wrong is because they also had 24/7 access to surveillance cameras that tracked the movement of equipment and material inside of their facilities. And those were also tamper-proof, on top of the fact that the IAEA has extraordinarily advanced means of enrichment detection. And they could just straight up use like small cotton swipes on the fucking floor, okay, to detect highly enriched uranium. And this would mean that Iran would have to somehow navigate around the tamper-proof cameras. This means that somehow Iran would have to navigate around the fact that if there's even one fucking micron of enriched uranium that is left anywhere within the enrichment facilities whatsoever, that then they're caught, and navigate around the fact that these in-person visits weren't like once or twice a year, but 300 per year. Okay, and then on top of that, you know, we also had satellite imagery. So if we wanted, which then monitored regular vehicle activity. So if there was any vehicle activity to and from the enrichment sites prior to an in-person visit that wasn't regular, okay, well then we know that they were doing shit. And in consideration of the satellite imagery, in consideration of the 300 in-person visits where they couldn't even leave a speck of dust from enriched uranium behind, and in consideration of the 24/7 access to surveillance of all of the sites with the cameras being tamper-proof, you have absolutely no reason to suggest that they broke the JCPOA.
Okay, like we have different views. You have more trust in Washington. I worked in Washington. I
trust in the processes. What's the hole in the processes that I just described? What's the hole in the processes that I just described?
There's a lot of blacks on it. I mean, like, we have Epstein, right? Like, Epstein, the cameras busted before Epstein died. Like, things happen, but I
know, but the cameras never busted in these uranium enrichment sites. We had access to non-busted camera feeds, so that's not a hole. So what's the hole in the process of the IAEA ensuring that they were honoring the JCPOA? Tell me the hole. Don't tell me about Epstein. Tell me the hole and all of the means that I just described to you that were used by the IAEA to ensure that Iran was honoring the deal. Describe the hole.
Okay, so you're only getting reported data. What will happen is that they will fluff around. They'll like I don't want to say the word, like, fluff around the kind of like SOP. They won't. Yeah, it won't be super secure. They'll tamper
with the hole in all the security that I just gave you.
IAEA doesn't have an obligation to report everything on that to the public, so they'll have internal documentation. But I'm telling you that.
But the internal documentation can't contradict the data in which they were released.
Yes, yes, it can.
No, they can't. They can't. So I just wanted to clarify that now you're saying, Dean, you've beat me. Okay, you've described to me with perfection how there was no hole in the oversight and surveillance of the enrichment sites in Iran. Iran. But Dean, all that this means is that I'm still right. Iran was still enriching uranium while the deal was in place, and the IAEA did detect that because there's no holes in their detection, but they just never let the world know. They kept it to themselves, and then they publicly said that they weren't enriching uranium. Listen, this is why conspiratorial gibberish has no place in rational society. We should only believe things when we have good reason to believe things. And you're believing something not even when it's a reasonable possibility because it's an unreasonable possibility, but merely because it could be the case. Dude, this is no different than saying that NASA faked the moon landing and they just kept that internal and told people otherwise so we could beat the Soviets in the space race. But then we were secretly in cahoots with the Soviets behind the scenes like a WWE boxing match, and that's why they never came out and falsified the moon landing and actually affirmed that it was true because of the laser reflectors on the moon, right? There's no difference between the conspiracy theory that you're giving me about the secret cahoots between Iran, the US, the IAEA, the Russia, and the rest of the EU and the UN, okay, and the conspiracy theory that I just described to you about the moon landing. This is bullshit, all right? Not to mention that the US and the IAEA would have a vested interest in ensuring that they were not enriching weapons-grade uranium, and if they were enriching your weapons-grade uranium, then that would be collected in their public reports, and then the JCPOA would be thrown off the table.
Okay, you beat me. You beat me because it's like I can't. It's like yeah, I am pulling out of the air because you're not gonna. It's like you want to win. You want to look at the public data only. That's fine. That's on you, and that's valid. Everyone, you
Prove
can't
that
go.
the private data. That
You want to look at
substantiates
the
your view
public
that
data?
exists.
I'm sorry. How the hell are we supposed to look at the classified or private stuff? Like, tell me how we're supposed to do that.
Deductive thinking, but it's okay. Hey, okay, you know what? You win. I'm gonna give you this.
What? That we're not trying to
no,
win.
that's-
We're like, how do we do
You
that?
won.
Like,
I know. It's understanding organizational interests and then looking at kind of dynamics between DC multilaterals. It's fine. You win, and I want everyone to know you win. Can I just drop something
Okay.
real quick? Are you pro human rights? I know you are pro. I know you're pro human rights. I've seen your humanity when you were arguing with people who seem to be like not caring about things. Really quick, I'm going to East Congo this summer. Is that okay if I just say this real quick? I'm going to an organization, they're independent, called Focus Congo. And there's a crisis in East Congo because of minerals, rare earths. There's also issues with organizations on the ground and some sort of like rebel groups and things like this. I'll be going there this summer. They're an incredible organization, Focus Congo. And they have like Kalani follows them, Miss Rachel for Littles, everything.
We've done an $18,000 fundraiser for Focus Congo.
You have?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. Pappy Orion is the founder. He's my friend. He's really incredible. You spoke to him?
Yes.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
I would assume you know Athena?
What?
Do you know
I don't-
Athena?
I only speak to Pappy, and I know the different, like some of the main people who have big social media presences on this team, but I'll be going out there this summer, Benny, Goma, and Bukavu, so I'll be meeting them.
Okay. Well, Pappy is an incredible individual. Focus Congo is super cool.
Yeah, that's